Hello, my guys. Welcome to another episode of the Microwave Kicks. Yes, the first week or the first match day of the English Premier League has come and gone. What a week that was. What a match day that was. The very first week we saw, a Super Sunday, and that was a very interesting one because it was not a boring draw. At least there was, there was a goal in that fixture, and it was a very interesting game. Every club actually played, unless Everton and Leeds United, who are playing currently right now, as at the time I'm recording this video, as the last fixture of this first match day of the Premier League. A lot of interesting talking points, a lot of goals were scored. Some couple of games, or I think a game or two. Two games actually ended in a goalless draw, which was very boring. But that being said, let's pick points. Let's touch about, let's talk. Let's touch each games and let's make a review of how it actually went down in the first week of the English Premier League. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the like button, join this family. We're going bigger, we're going stronger, we're getting better. Let's talk, the main talking points, and let's touch each and every game of this first match day of the English Premier League. So let's talk about the first game. We started on a Friday night, a rare Friday fixture, in the opening day of the Premier League. Started with Liverpool and Liverpool and Bournemouth. All right. Liverpool are the defending champions. They finished the season last season. It was a very surprising one. A coach who came to the Premier League and in his very first season won the Premier League. Now, they finished well. All right. They won their very last game, to clinch the title and to lift the title. Now, after the whole, Diogo Jota, RIP to Diogo Jota, after the whole summer, it was a very sad one for them. Now, they needed to start this season on a very good note. They needed to give their fans something to smile about. They needed to show that, yes, that despite what happened in the summer, this season can actually be a positive one. At least doing one for Diogo Jota, giving the team, a win, giving the fans something to smile about and something to laugh about and something to actually enjoy and take away that whole pain about the Diogo issue. Yes, it was a very good one for Ugo Ekitike, a debutant who scored the very first goal for Liverpool this season. He did that also in the Community Shield. He scored for them. Now he brought that into the Premier League. First goal for Ekitike, fantastic goal for him. How he created the space for himself. How he slotted that into the side nets. It was fantastic. Very good goal for Ekitike. It's good for him. Building his confidence into the Premier League, coming into the Premier League and getting that first goal. It was a very, very fantastic one. That was a very nice goal for Ekitike. Hopefully he builds on this momentum, and hopefully he will be praying that Liverpool does not buy Isak, because that will reduce his game time. I would love to see how they are going to merge that if at the end of the summer transfer window, Liverpool goes ahead and sign Alexander Isak. Probably he might be moved to the wing. Probably they might play two strikers. Let's see how that go, because it will not be nice signing a striker for up to 90 million euros and putting him on the bench in the very first season. So they will probably look for a way to maybe play two strikers and play Florian Wirtz behind, and let's see how that goes. Now, for Florian Wirtz, it wasn't a very nice outing. It wasn't a very nice start, to life in the Premier League. But hopefully, with time, he would adapt to the pace of the Premier League, to the physicality of the Premier League as times goes by. Now, after Ekitike scored, Gakpo actually increased the lead, in the 41st minute, with a very good goal from Gakpo as well. And when Liverpool think where they were already cruising, then Semenyo came and scored two fantastic goals. One, it was a square play, and he slotted in the goal. Then the other one, he created the chance for himself. He took the ball by himself, and created chance for himself. It was a solo run, and he slotted goal, the second goal, which came in the 76th minute, and it became 2-2. At that point, it was as if Liverpool are going to draw points. But when the coach looked to the bench, there was no Diogo Jota there, RIP to him, and he brought in Federico Chiesa. When Federico Chiesa came into the game, this was a player that was not given chance last season. This was a player that played a handful of games last season. This was a player that didn't really take it that didn't really have too much chance last season, but this was this chance for him to prove something. He's already been linked with the move away, from Liverpool, but at least he came into the game and he was able to effect the game. Hopefully, that might keep him in the club. Let's see how that goes. But he came into the game and he got another goal for Liverpool, making it 3-2. And that was in the 88th minute. But what is an opening day without a Mohamed Salah goal? He has always been scoring in the opening fixture of the Premier League, and he came and he scored in the 95th minute thereabout. I think it was the last kick of the game. He scored to make it 4-2. So it was a very fantastic victory for Liverpool. To round it up, in summary, it was a very good victory for them, at least starting this season on a good note, starting this season on a winning streak, defending the Premier League, at the start, with a victory was a very good one for them. So it was a very good one for Liverpool. Let me know what you think about the Liverpool's game. Let me know what you think about the Bournemouth equalizer, the whole, everything I just talked about right now about the game. Share your thoughts in the comment. Now let's move to the next game, which was on Saturday between Aston Villa and Newcastle. It was a boring draw. The game ended in a goalless draw. Now let's start with Aston Villa. For Aston Villa, they went a man down in the game. I think it was in the first half or the second half. I can't really remember, but they went a man down. I think it was in the first half, and they were able to hold their own towards to the end of the game. To keep Newcastle at bay, not letting Newcastle score. I think it was a very underwhelming performance for them, in front of goal before they got the red card. But the positive thing they were able to take was the fact that despite the red card, they were able to hold their own against a Newcastle side that is very good. Now, for Newcastle, coming into this game, there was no Alexander Isak. It was always going to be difficult scoring goals for them, without that their talisman in front of goal. But it was a very good one. At least they didn't lose. They picked up a draw without their main striker, but they were supposed to pick up all 3 points. Having known that they had a man in advantage, over Aston Villa, they were supposed to pick up that all important 3 points. But a point is better than a loss. They need to go into the market and get a striker. Jackson is available. Goncalo Ramos is available. They have strikers available who are ready to play for this club. If Isak is not ready to play, for this club, let's see how that goes. Let's see what happens with time. I've seen strikers, I've seen players who wants to leave a club, and at the end of the day, they turn around and sign new contracts. It happened to the Northern Forest captain. What's his name? Name skip me right now. It happened to him as well. So let's see how that Morgan Gibbs White. Okay, let's see how that goes with this Newcastle side. But they need to start picking up points. They are a Champions League team. They need to start picking up points from the very first day of this season. Tell me what you think about the Aston Villa game. Let's move to the next one. Brighton against Fulham. Now, Brighton has been rocked with a player who wants to leave, or a player who has offers in Beleba. They sold João Pedro, so they've not really brought in too much players. But the player who they had last season, who didn't really get too much chance last season, is O'Reilly, and he got the goal in the 55th minute. That was a penalty for Brighton, and it was a very good performance for them as well. Fulham is always going to be a very difficult fixture for a club like Brighton. And with the way the game went, Brighton already thought they've already won the game. And if not for Diego Muniz, who scored in the very last kick of the game in the 96th minute for Muniz, and that was how Fulham got an equalizer, and that was how that game ended. But that being said, it was a very good game all the same for them. At least a point is better than a loss, but they were supposed to pick up all 3 points. They were supposed to seal up the game at that dying moment of the match. Tell me what you think about the Brighton and the Fulham game. Which game did you pick? Who do you think would have won that game if you watched that game? Share your thoughts in the comment. Now let's move to the next fixture. Sunderland against West Ham. Now for this Sunderland side, they're a very good side. All right, nobody gave them a chance, but I knew, if you watch my previous video when I was talking about how the season is going to pan out, when I was talking about my prediction for the season, I spoke about this Sunderland side, that they are going to spring surprises. Why? Because I looked at their signings during the course of the season, and trust me, they made very good signings. It's not only about buying a lot of players. There are clubs who have come to the Premier League, bought a lot of players, and go back to the Championship. An example was Nottingham Forest few seasons ago. They bought like 12, 13 players. They've gone back. Yes, Sunderland have bought 12 players, but they didn't just sign blindly. They signed strategically. Now, they signed a player like Xhaka, they signed a player like perhaps they added Premier League experience, Adingra, they added Muswaku, they added Ronaldo from Atletico Madrid. They added quality player and experience. Remember the keyword, experience, into their squad, and that helped them a whole lot, in this particular fixture. It was a shocker against West Ham. West Ham didn't even believe their eyes. It was a shocker against West Ham. 3-0, against West Ham. That was the statement they made, and that was a very, very good, point for them. A player like Isidore got a debut goal for them. It was a very good match. At least they didn't just sit back and defend all through. They also came out and played West Ham. They also came out and showed that yes, they can compete in the Premier League, and that was what they did. It was a very good victory, fantastic victory for them. I predicted they were not going to lose. I knew they were going to score. I knew there were goals. If you were following me, on my other social media platform, I put up a prediction that there are going to be 2 or more goals in this game. And that was how it panned out to be. 3-0 against West Ham. Fantastic victory for Sunderland. I hope they can ride on this victory going into the later phase of the season and pick up points. I know this team will remain in the Premier League. They are not going to relegate because they have a very, very good core, in that team. So it was a very good one. Goals from Mayenda, goals from Bellard and Isidore with a debut goal. So it was a very, very fantastic victory for them. West Ham has to start picking points. West Ham, they might struggle. They might really, really struggle this season because they've not really signed players. They've not really signed good players. They need an attacker. They need a very good midfield. They've not replaced Kudus in the team. So they need to start picking points and start doing it as quick as possible. Tell me what you think about Sunderland and West Ham game in the comment section. Now let's move to the next fixture, which is Tottenham Hotspur against Burnley. I have said it that Tottenham Hotspur would make a statement this season. Tottenham Hotspur, people poo eye on Tottenham. The kind of signings they are signing, the kind of players they are bringing into the team will definitely upgrade the team. They've lost Son, who left the team to MLS. They've brought in quality. Kudus, Matistel on a permanent deal. They've brought in what's his name? The guy from Bayern Munich, the midfielder from Bayern Munich, Paulinha, a former West Ham player, a 29, 30-year-old player, a very experienced player in the midfield, a very thick midfield for them. Now they were able to extend the contract of their captain, in the team. That was a very, very good move for them. See, this Tottenham Hotspur this season will do very well. They will cook this season, and it will be a very good season for them. I see them qualifying for the Europa League. I see them, like I said in my previous prediction, you can go and check it. I see them qualifying, for the Europa League. It's a very good side, and that coach, he is not having too much pressure on his shoulders because he's not coming with so much reputation. Yes, he has done well in Brentford, but he doesn't have so much pressure, so he will be given the time to work. He'll be given the time to succeed. That is a very good coach in Thomas Frank. This Tottenham side is going to do very well, and we already saw it with the work he's doing with Richarlison scoring 2 goals in that game. It was a very good goal. 2 assists for their new signing. Kudus was a very good goal for them, a very good game for them. Richarlison in the 10th minute and the 60th minute, and Johnson, their highest goal scorer last season in the Premier League, also got a goal, making it 3 goals to 0. So tell me what you think about the Spurs game. While for this Burnley is going to go back. I don't think they have so much quality in the squad. Yes, they got the likes of Kyle Walker in the team, but I don't think they have enough firepower to stay back in the Premier League. But trust me, I think they're going to fight, but it's not going to be enough. I think they're going to go back to the Premier League. Now, let's move to the next fixture. Tell me what you think about that Tottenham game and the Burnley game. Let's move to the next fixture. Wolves against Manchester City. I said it in my previous prediction that Wolves might go back to the Premier League, to the Championship. They have not signed quality players. You cannot just sign only Arias as a quality player from Fluminense who doesn't have Premier League experience and think you're going to stay back in the Premier League. I think they need to sign defenders, quality defenders, a quality midfielder, and a very good attacker in that team also. It goes from Haaland, Haaland 137 or 147 appearance for Manchester City and 147 goal and assist. What a feat for Haaland. A very good striker. It's a top A-list striker in the Premier League. Very good player, in Haaland. Tijani Renders also got a debut goal, and Cheki. I think both of them are going to cook. Tijani Renders was the best midfielder in the Serie A last season. A league where you have the likes of Barella, a league where you have the likes of Chaneloglu, and you become the best midfielder in that league for a team who didn't win the Scudetto. That is a quality player in there. I think he's going to do well this season. He's one of the best signings Manchester City made this season, as well as Cheki. So I think they are going to do well this season. Let's see how that goes. Tell me what you think about the Manchester City 4-0 victory against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now let's move to the game on Sunday. The first game on Sunday was Chelsea against Crystal Palace. It was a very boring draw for Chelsea. I thought Chelsea were going to pick up victory against Crystal Palace, but it was a very boring draw. No creativity at all in the side. The Crystal Palace defended for their lives. They kept a compact low block. It was not easy to break that team, in Crystal Palace. But that being said, Chelsea tried. A goal was disallowed for Crystal Palace. I think there was an impeachment in the build up, or in the box for the free kick from Eze. But it was a very good performance from Crystal Palace. Let's not take it away from Crystal Palace. This is the team who won the FA Cup, who won the Community Shield against Liverpool. So it was who won the FA Cup against Manchester City. So they are a very good side defensively. They are a very compact side. So it's not easy to break them, especially in the Stamford Bridge that is very, very small. It's hard to break this team. So, and there's a London derby as well. So let's not take anything away from them. Chelsea had a poor game, but Crystal Palace had one of the best games in a very, very long time. So kudos to them, and kudos to Crystal Palace defense. Let me know what you think about the game Chelsea against Crystal Palace. Then let's move to the next game, Nottingham Forest against Brentford. For Nottingham Forest, they are riding on a very good performance for last season. They were able to keep Morgan Gibbs-White. They were able to sign new players, even if they let Elanga leave. They are still able to sign the likes of James McCarthy, Omari Hutchinson. They're able to put quality into the team, and that is what is very, very important. To this Nottingham Forest side, they still kept the core of their team. Going into next season. Next season, they are going to play Europa League football, so they needed those quality in the team. And Chris Woods continued from where he stopped last season, getting 2 goals in the game in the 50th minute and in the 45th minute, while I think Ndoye got a debut goal for them as well. Brentford is going to be a difficult season for Brentford. Very, very difficult season for them. They lost in Buemo. They are going to lose Wissa as well. They lost their midfielder to Arsenal as well. So it's going to be, and they've not really replaced with real quality. They bought Traore from Bournemouth, but they've not replaced with real quality. I think they're going to struggle this season for a coach who doesn't have a lot of experience in the Premier League. Yes, he's a set piece coach, assistant coach to the former coach, which is Thomas Frank, who left for Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be a very difficult season for them. They're going to struggle in the relegation waters, but I don't think they are going to relegate, but they're going to struggle. Maybe they might finish 16th or 15th, but they're going to struggle. Let me know what you think about the Brentford or the Nottingham Forest against Brentford. The game ended 3-1, in that fixture. Now let's move to the next game, which was a Super Sunday, the biggest clash of the week. Manchester United against Arsenal. Now, before I start, I think Arsenal have. Let me start with Arsenal. Arsenal have started this new season with the fact that you don't have to play beautifully well for you to get 3 points. They are using the Mourinho tactics. Whatever way you're going to get the 3 point, get the 3 point, which is most important. All their players are fit. They got a new striker. They got quality in the team. Havertz is back. Goalscorers is in the team. Merino. Every player is available. Saka is available. Gabriel is available. Now, they started from where they stopped last season with the set piece thing. They got to go through set space, and the Premier League has to look at this impending the goalkeeper, holding the goalkeeper, and all of that. It's getting too much. It's really getting too much. As an Arsenal fan, you might not agree with me. I understand, but trust me, if it's done to you guys, you might not really take it lightly. But I think the Premier League has to really look at that. But whichever way a goal is gotten, and that's it. But that being said, it was a very good game for Arsenal. They defended for their lives. They defended very well because Manchester United really brought the game to them, and they defended well, which is a good thing to Arsenal. Defending very, very well. It's not just about scoring goals. You need to be able to keep the lead when you score. Defend very compactly. Keep the low block when needed, and counter and attack when needed as well in transition. Also, the goal came from Calafiori. That was a header from Calafiori. And Manchester United played very well. It was a very underwhelming performance for Victor Gyökeres as the debutant for Arsenal. It wasn't a very good game for him. But that being said, I think he's going to adapt in the Premier League. He just needs time to adapt into the Premier League. He's going to score goals this season, but he needs time. Now, for Manchester United, they performed very well for me. I think they won my heart this weekend. They performed very well. They played Arsenal hands down. They created a lot of chances. In Mbeumo had a shots being saved. There was a penalty call which did not go to them. I don't know why, but it did not go to them, and they lost the game 1-0. But they played very, very well. I think if they ride on that level of consistency, if they ride on that level of how they want to play, how they played, I think at the end of the day they are going to do well this season. I see them qualifying for the Conference League, maybe, but worst case scenario, they finished 7th. Worst case scenario, I think they might finish 7th this season. But they're a very good side. I think I've seen a change from how last season was. I've seen a change from how last season's bad performances are to how they started this season. They didn't lose in the preseason, so it's a very, very good start for them going into this new season. So that's it about the game. Then for this last fixture that is being played currently as I record this video, Leeds United against Everton. Halftime, goalless draw at this point. We'll talk about that in the review of this weekend's game, Premier League fixture. So tell me what you think about the Manchester United against Arsenal. Do you think that was a penalty call? Do you think Manchester United would have gotten a penalty? And do you think Arsenal really, really played well? But to me, I think the 3 points is what matters most, and that was what Arsenal got. So that's my review for the whole fixture that was played in the Premier League. Share your thoughts in the comment. Let me know what you think about this fixture. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please always comment in the comment section. Join this family. Let's go bigger. Let's go stronger. Let's get wider. Let's get big. So I come away again next time. Share your thoughts in the comments. I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.